All right, it's barely legal time here for episode number 18. Now that we're old enough, we can eat donuts and drink Monster all by ourselves.
Well, some of us can.
Well, I know you can't, but that's a whole different deal.
Hey, I want to be the first to say.
What are you doing here?
Happy Jerry Day today.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow is his birthday.
Yeah, damn
I
you.
was talking
17th.
about what a coincidence.
Oh, National Joke Day today.
National Joke Day.
He's got back-to-back days honoring him.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim, closer to the mic. Unfortunately, we want to hear you. Jeez.
Jerry, further from Mike, please.
Street, maybe.
There, perfect.
Donuts?
What are we going to talk about today?
I had a new name for today.
What was the name?
The Eagle 18. Sprint Nationals. Isn't that okay? It's not as fun. I'm sorry. Sorry, I thought maybe you'd want to.
Yeah, that's.
What do you call a fish without eyes?
I've told that joke a few times.
Roger, you got any jokes?
Nope. I try not to.
Why did the guy put the car in the oven?
Why?
Because he wanted to see a hot rod.
Oh, God. That's why I don't have jokes.
Jesus.
that do
Jerry
something like
doesn't
that.
either.
Why don't we introduce our guest, Jerry?
Oh, it's Roger Hadan from Eagle Raceway.
That's why the Eagle 18. That was appropriate.
Yeah,
Jim.
that's what I thought. That side
Hey,
of the
how you
table.
doing?
That side of the table over there.
Oh, I thought Jim would be for that.
No.
Barely legal.
Barely legal.
That's what
better.
we're going with.
Barely legal. There were some of those this weekend, I heard. Cars.
Oh.
We've almost been on schedule. I mean, heck, last podcast was on the 9th, a week ago. Today's the
It's been
16th.
weekly for the
Yeah.
last month or so. I think.
Yeah.
Jerry made the trip over just for the podcast.
We're a pretty structured group here.
Jerry took a break from the Iowa State Fair to join us today.
I know. I'm going straight back though.
My wife went, I think it said this, my wife went Sunday with the kids, with my daughter and her little friend. And,
Roger was there yesterday.
Roger, yeah. Roger
He was at
went.
the
Yeah.
Iowa State Fair. You was at the Iowa State Fair yesterday?
Yeah, that place was packed. I wish I could get a racetrack like that.
How much rain did you get?
Well, we hustled, got there early, and we were there until about 1, and then it started raining. And it wasn't bad. It was kind of light.
You did beat the rain then.
Yeah,
you
we
ri-
stuck it out for
Did
a
you
while.
ride the rides? Do you ride rides, Roger?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yep. The extreme is pretty extreme.
Did you ride the tilt-a-whirl?
Do they have one of those rides where you like grab onto a fire hose and turn it on?
Those are the good ones. Those only happen at Eagle Raceway.
We should have had a clip of that. That's my bad. We should have had a clip of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
we only tried to kill one person. Other than that, it's been pretty safe.
Okay. Now inquiring minds want to know. Tell us about the fire hose deal.
Fire hose rodeo.
Never heard of
So
that,
you-
Jerry?
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. So
So you take a lift and you run a fire hose up over this lift about 30 foot in the air and let it dangle down. And you put a little seat at the bottom and you take your race car drivers and put them on this hose, and they got to hang on for dear life because once you turn the water pressure on, it just whips around like a mother.
You've never seen this?
No, I haven't
Oh
seen
my
it.
God!
No. Nate, can you find this footage somewhere
It's
of the?
on
I've
YouTube.
I've seen
Find
some
us some
footage.
YouTube
and
footage.
it's-
Oh yeah, you got to see this.
Yeah,
everybody
we shot-
survived, right?
Why is it there's always crazy shit that happens at Eagle?
No.
Like haunted houses
Roger.
and
Roger.
bus races with Joker lanes.
Yeah, we have bus demo next week coming up.
Oh.
This Saturday night. Saturday.
Hey, what are you doing Saturday? Can you fill in for me? I'm going to go to the bus
I've got
derby.
plans, sorry.
Damn it. Could get a double derby.
Is that legal?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I mean, just when you're over 18. Under 18, you can't go to a double derby.
Thankfully, we're 18 now.
I don't even want to go down that road. Rodeo.
Fire hose rodeo.
Eagle Raceway. Well,
Yeah, you might see one of Shaylee Bade whipping around in circles and face planting into the mud puddle.
And they willingly do this, or is this a required part of your program?
Well, usually I ask for volunteers, like one out of each class, and I'd never have any problem.
That's cool.
Oh man.
Like this
They didn't know any
weekend coming
better.
up, yeah, until they see it happen, then they're like, "Oh shit, we shouldn't have done that."
Yeah. Not getting on that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
hell
nuts.
was I
It's
thinking?
I mean, yeah, I know you talk to the insurance companies before it happened, and they're okay with it, right?
I kind of figure if it's participants and they've signed the participant waiver, we're good.
Yeah,
This is a part of the
part of the show.
It is.
part of the podcast. Bob Allen needs to turn off right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Bob.
Feel free to turn it off.
I mean, I feel that if you were dumb enough to do something like that, you are not smart enough to sue.
Oh God, this is getting pretty technical now.
Jerry's
Somebody's gonna
thoughts
get
of
in
the
trouble here.
Jerry trying. There it is. There's the video of it.
Yeah,
No, that's not Eagle Raceway.
Well, no,
That's
but that's
just
what
a-
they do. That's a
that's like an episode of Jackass.
Well, that's where a lot of this stuff gets stolen from.
Like an episode of Jackass.
Yeah, I watched a lot of that.
Do you have to ride for 8 seconds?
I mean, that's the Iowa State Fair. It's
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, actually. Oh, and there they go.
there they go. And there they go.
Yeah, there's Shaylee Bade creeping away from it.
Oh, the ones at Eagle are fantastic. I mean, that one. I mean, it goes completely around. It's nuts.
So do you have a fire truck that does this, or you just hook it up to
Yeah.
a fire hydrant?
Yeah, fire truck. We actually had at the time, the last time we did it, we had one of my announcers was female, and she was roller derby. She was a roller derby girl also. She's like, I want to put this on my resume, so we sent her out there to ride it, and she got on, and the thing just immediately whipped around and threw her off. And she was pretty cuckoo for a little while, so I'm picking her up. I'm walking her away from her. I'm like, are you all right? Are you all right? And she just looks at me with this serious, serious face. And I'm thinking, oh God, here it comes. She goes, everything's good, except for I can't feel my, you know what, between her legs, because she goes, I couldn't feel anything between my legs because I was gripping on so tight.
Oh, I fell in love with the roller derby queen, says Jim Croce.
There we go. Eagle Raceway Fire Hose Rodeo.
Did you find it?
Yes.
How come Nate can't find it? I mean, Nate is the guru of finding. No, you are the
Eagle Raceway Fire Hose. That's what I Googled.
find it, Nate. Now. And Saber Nationals coming up, Roger. Oh, there they are, right? They're on the back of our screen too.
There they are, right there.
Last year, what an amazing finish to that thing, right? Came down to banging wheels and like 7 1,000ths of a second.
I think a couple years before that, we got to see Kevin Ramey win it by
over Jason
somebody.
Martin in another banging wheels deal.
The finishes at Eagle are always great. I mean, that's just a great, great event. I mean, how many years is this now? You started this event how long ago?
I don't know, maybe too long. I think this is the 10th year.
I mean, to have an event get that big, that quick, not only with the cars, but with the fans, is something that's pretty tough to do. I mean, you put on the whole show, Roger. It's just not obviously the 100+ sprint cars that are there, but it's everything that goes along with it. You know, you have after the races, Eagle watermelons and bands in the pits, and just a great time.
Yeah, same deal. It's always who steals whose best idea. So, tiki bar stolen from Boone or wherever, and, party afterwards, bands. Actually kind of one of the coolest things is the car wash in the morning. So I set up a car wash, and the cars line up for, every car that's here just stays here basically. And they just line up, go through the car wash, and it becomes a big mingling deal. And everybody, meets everybody. And this year we're probably going to have some girls in bikinis doing the car washing.
There you go. Room for an Impala?
Is that kind of like
Room
girls?
for an Impala.
Girls going
Oh,
to-
yes.
Yeah, room for an Impala.
Kind of like girls jumping on trampolines.
Trampolines.
Yes.
We might have to get some footage of that for our podcast since we don't have.
Well, IMCA TV is going to be there, right, Nate? It's going to be
better
broadcast.
be.
Last
You
year.
get all the coverage you need.
They're
See if
there
we can get a
weekly. What are you
see if we
talking
can get a
about?
cameraman over there.
Get a cameraman
Someone,
to the.
think you can
to the
find
car
somebody
wash.
willing to do that, Nate?
Maybe not.
Somebody stand in.
That'll be hard.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of days in a row, and sometimes the Eagle Mellons start early and go all day long if needed to keep everybody interested in the program.
They end late.
What is in an Eagle Melon?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
What is in that? Do you have a
whole bunch of different rums. It's a rum type drink like you'd probably get like if you went to Mexico or something like that. Those types of drinks, fruity drink.
So it's secret. It's kind of like a.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
jungle
proprietary
juice.
to Eagle.
Yes.
So we can't
Yep.
steal that then.
Could we
It's
borrow a
not
cup?
that. If you could figure it out, yes, you could use it.
You know would be the perfect ingredient for Eagle watermelons?
It's a methanol moonshine.
Methanol moonshine. Roger, have you ever thought of that?
Yep. We actually have a drink that has some,
Perfect.
What a deal.
Perfect.
or so it's said to have it.
Tell us a little bit more, Roger. Give us the dates, the times, all the general info the fans will need to make their way to Eagle.
Well, I think it's the 1st of the 4th, and the tech actually starts on Wednesday. We start getting cars in on Wednesday, and every day there's a schedule of events. Not as big as the Iowa Fair Van Sickle, but I think I looked yesterday. I think that thing had like 9 pages of events.
Oh, it was you get a paper a day that's like a quadruple fold.
Yep. So this deal, we have something going every day. There's we play cornhole, bags, whatever you want to call it, one day, and we have tournaments with Miss Eagle girls, and just there's always something going on every day. So people have activities to do, and then every day there's basically tech before you get to race. So the drivers are here and all hopefully getting along, and we don't have too many problems in the tech area, and everything rolls along smooth. Usually there's a few issues, but not too much that can't be taken care of at the track. I think in 10 years we've sent one person away without being able to race. But then the races start at 6:30 every evening, and they go Thursday all the way up to Monday, or Thursday to Sunday, and then Monday's a rain date.
Weird. That's not going to be needed this year.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
Oh yeah, tell somebody to be quiet. Who is
That
who's
is
back
correct.
there?
Oh, I have some stepkids here making noise,
Oh, well, tell them to come on into the video.
waiting for them to turn on air compressors or something. They got to have their RC cars out because they can't work on their go-karts today.
Send them out with a mower and a weed eater or something.
Yeah, they're too dangerous. I'd have to send them back to their dad all crippled and crap.
Format, as far as qualifying for somebody who's never been or is going to watch it on IMCA TV, is it similar to what we do at Boone with the Super Nationals, or how does that work? Because I know they're different sprint car nationals. They qualify. Sometimes they'll separate cars per night, or how does it work over there?
Yeah, our deal's a little different. Everybody's asked for different things, and I think we've come up with what we think works best with sprint car stuff, with that many cars anyway. And first day you draw out of 1 to 100, or 1 to 200, and if you draw anywhere between 1 and 100 the first day, you got to draw out of the bag of 101 to 200 the second day, and vice versa. That way everybody has split it up. Everybody gets a chance that way. And then basically throughout there's a certain amount of people get qualified every single night. There's a feature. So out of those features, there'll be 3 people get qualified each night. And then the rest of them all accumulate points. So there's points accumulated for the A features, the B features, the heat races, everything accumulates points for you. So every single race counts. And then on the final day, everything's lined up by your accumulated points.
You time trial? You don't do group qualifying or anything like that?
Nope, that crap's boring. I can't stand it, so I ain't gonna make them do it.
That's why I like
That'd be a lot of cars.
The
to
draw
time
heat
around.
race. So like we would do
Similar.
Yeah, so very similar.
So
to
like a weekly show then, if you had a special, like a draw redraw type format is what you're doing.
Similar, yep.
Yeah.
Except for instead of redraw, it's accumulated points.
No fire hose rodeo for the pole.
Well, we did have one year
Frozen
when it rained.
t-shirt.
We had to have them run to see who started where for the
That's
feature.
right. You have done that.
Yeah,
A foot race.
Foot
Foot race? Wow.
yeah,
Foot races are fun.
You ready,
yeah. The
Jerry? Let's try
chunky
that.
people weren't thrilled.
Oh, well. Tell them to run faster.
Yeah, how bad do you want to start up front?
You know, once again, a little bit of your history, Roger. I mean, obviously, we're talking RaceSaver Nationals, but, you know, I've said this to numerous people. If you're going to look into running a racetrack, you need to look at what Roger does and Racine does, because Racine's the real boss. We all know that. What you guys do at Eagle, I mean, everything from the quickness of the show, you know, they'll run 150 cars in 3 hours or so, and if it gets to be about 9:30, Roger gets pretty cranky on the RaceSavers, and you know, the track's always spotless. It's groomed right. I mean, the drivers know if a feature goes green, white, checkered, what happens the next week?
All the drivers in that feature get in free.
How often does that happen?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, a couple times a night. There'll be a couple classes every night will run straight through on their feature.
So everybody in the feature gets a free pit pass the next week.
Yep. Yep. And usually,
That can
you know,
add
we
up.
don't
That can add
think
up a
we
lot.
lose any people because they'll bring somebody else with them next week when they know they're going to get a free pit pass anyway.
Sure.
And if they run straight through, I think they deserve it because, you know, then the fans are seeing a better race.
Cheap advertising.
It's a really good idea.
Yes.
But it also would be costly. You know, I mean, it would. I mean, generally speaking, but you just said if they bring one extra person, it doesn't cost you anything. But
I've seen deals there before where a car will spin and the car behind it will push it off the track. So everybody's getting free the next week.
do you ever have any
Damn it,
fights?
that's going to cost me $30. Get out of the way.
Yeah, any fights in the pits after the races because the guy caused the caution?
Not with no sport compacts anymore.
Yeah. Things
Took care of that problem.
without the sport combats.
Yes.
No, Jim's right. I mean, it was a sport compact race that happened. You know, there was I think I paid 60, 50, 40, and then 30 on back or something like that at the time. And, you know, so if they finish like fourth, winning, running straight through and getting a free pit pass was like winning a race. So the sport compact, one guy, he conked out and he's putting down the straightaway, and the last place guy pulls up behind and pushes him in the infield and then just takes off and starts going.
That dude is ingenious.
But, you know, truly, just you know, a lot of people will, you'll hear comments, oh, Eagle Raceway, it's nothing but a goddamn circus. And I think you're kind of proud when you hear that, Roger.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a compliment.
If we can have a circus and a good race, that's the best of both worlds. And I think our track is configured and people sit in the right places, and the grandstand or the food lines are in the right places. I mean, you watch a race while you're in line to get your food and not miss anything. So I think just overall, the place happens to be set up right to where it's advantageous to racing and the circus.
Absolutely. And once again, you know, good, quick show, a lot of entertainment. It's just it really is a fun place to be. And, you know, you talk to a lot of drivers, and, you know, I'll talk to, you know, why do you race here? You pull from a long way away. He goes, you know what? It's kind of fun to race in front of about 2,500 people a week. And that's not really exaggerating either. I mean, with the crowd you get there.
Yeah, if it's not 118-degree heat index,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago, we usually do decent. Yeah, a lot of times we'll have pits half that full. So, I mean, that's pretty important too.
And, you know, a little bit else about your background. Obviously, you know, the promoting was a family deal starting with your grandpa.
Yep.
And And you've been racing. Well, you raced for how long before you took up the promoting part of it?
Well, from 14 years old, I raced illegally. and I said I was 16, and they didn't ask for identification back then. So I raced from 14 until 18, and then I started a business. That's my first car I ever bought. That was the very first Harris car ever made.
And you were that was what, 86 or something like that?
Yeah, that was my dad, though.
That was your dad?
So I bought the car. I started Auto Transmatic, a business, when I was 18, 19. And so I worked pretty hard on the business, and my dad raced the car just because I didn't really have time to do it. And then probably about, I don't know, maybe 86, and I started driving more again. And I ran mods and then went to a late model deal and kind of traveled around the country, and that's kind of where I decided to steal some ideas and start my own, racing deal here at Eagle.
Well, perfect. Like I said, for those of you who haven't been to Eagle yet, I strongly suggest it. Put on your bucket list. And the RaceSaver Nationals coming up is truly a must-see event. If you can't get there, obviously, IMCA TV.
Yeah. Ryan, should we go? We've never been there.
Have to be Thursday.
Friday.
I've been there.
Good.
I've
We could
never
go
been there.
Thursday or Friday.
You're gonna be busy Friday.
Oh yeah, I can't go.
Thursday would be the only day we could go.
But
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough.
I don't
Your
think
schedule.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Other than Knoxville, I can't picture another track being able to run over 100 sprint cars. And well, actually, even Knoxville splits them in half.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know of anybody running 100 sprint cars in a day.
Right.
And they do that time trialing thing too.
That's 100 sprint cars a night.
Yeah. That's why I always go sit at the dingus until I hear the anthem, and then I go walking in.
See, that's bad for me.
You make it
I
from
don't
the
want that
dingus?
crap.
What's
happening.
that?
You make it from the dingus over to the racetrack.
Oh, there was one year I didn't almost.
But once again, I think it's
A dingus at the dingus.
Yeah.
it's truly a great event. And once again, IMCA TV, if you can't make it there, but by all means, get there.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there a couple. I think I've drove over a couple times.
yeah, and not to mention you have celebrities there.
Yeah.
French Grimes.
Yep, the originator of RaceSaver.
Correct. And you know what we are going to do this year? We got to have French sit down and do an interview. It would be fascinating to hear a couple of his stories.
Aren't these supposed to be like half an hour and not like half a day?
So for the fans that don't really know, and some racers don't really know what the difference is between a RaceSaver sprint car and just a Knoxville sprint car, whether it be a 360 or a 410. In a nutshell, Roger, could you break that down?
The car physically itself is very similar, not much difference. Engine, $60,000-$80,000 difference.
So the car itself is, if I wanted to buy a sprint car, a sprint car is a sprint car. There's not a different car in RaceSaver. It's still a sprint car that every other sprint car association is using.
Yep, unlike all the other classes, mods, hobbies, all that, everybody's got their own little tweaks on the rules as far as cars even, what transmission they're using, what tire, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yep.
RaceSaver car is really no different than a World Outlaw car.
So I could go buy the car. I could go buy a car from Donnie Schatz and
Yep.
put a RaceSaver engine in it, and the car itself is legal.
That's being done right now, as a matter of fact, up in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think
Yep,
Donnie
Schatz actually has nieces racing in the
Yeah, they
RaceSaver
do.
car
Yeah.
right now.
I was just going to say that, yeah. Didn't she win a race?
Yeah, she's won a couple
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
Yeah. Up in
Was
Fargo.
it Amelia that won, or was it?
Not sure.
But anyhow, back to the sprint car itself, the wing on a RaceSaver is the same as a 410.
Yep.
Front and the nose wing and the big wing, right?
Yep.
You limit the adjustability of that. Is that all the same, or it can be done different ways, right?
Yeah, that's the only I mean, there's small differences. So like the wing adjuster on a World Outlaw car is controlled by the driver. They can hydraulically control the wing, move it forward and backwards. And on the RaceSaver car, it's manual. So you got to have, it's when you take to the track, it's locked in place and you have what you have.
You can't change it while you're racing.
Nope. Pretty slim chance.
What about like the wheels, for example? Are the wheels on the front and the back of a RaceSaver, are they the same widths and side diameter and size?
Yep. All that remains the same. The only thing different would be the right rear required on a RaceSaver car.
The tire
is
itself.
a RaceSaver tire. Yeah. And it's, usually $50, $60, $70 less than what the other guys are spending for basically the same shape and size of tire, but not RaceSaver plated.
Issues like the torsion bars and the shocks, the suspension on the RaceSaver and a World of Outlaw, they're the same, different.
Anything, same. Basically, okay, so I hate to oversimplify it, but I'm kind of a late model mod guy is what I was around most of my life. And so I would this is going to piss off some sprint car guys probably, but that car, if you got the wing in the right place and you got the right amount of stagger, that's 90% of the setup. Other than that, as far as torsion bars, there's basically 4 rates of torsion bar. That's it. The shocks are important, just like all the other classes, but are they going to make you win or lose a race? I think if you're a good driver, maybe not so much. So I think it comes down to wing placement and stagger more than anything.
For the bulk of our members are not sprint car racers. There's a lot of sprint car RaceSaver sprint car guys in IMCA. I think we've got about 1,000 of them now. So it's not a small division. It is not our smallest division by any means. It's a pretty big class, but the bulk of our other members are not racing anything remotely close to what a sprint car is. So it's really interesting to me. I think I've sat in a sprint car once, and Roger and I've had this conversation. I wanted to buy a RaceSaver for a while, but I think I was going to get a divorce if I did it, so I didn't.
Oh, we've heard that story, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked about this, but I was over in Roger's shop one time. I don't know how many years ago this was. It's been a while, and he had a RaceSaver sprint car sitting in the shop, and he had a modified sitting right behind it. And so, I don't need to ask a lot of questions about modifieds. I know a lot about those, but when I look at a sprint car, to me, it's very interesting coming from what I was accustomed to racing and seeing all over in this area. We don't see sprint cars a lot at the Benton County Speedway, So what I was accustomed to seeing and what a RaceSaver is pretty fascinating. It still is fascinating to me. And when you look at the rules and how that car is it's very universal, in my opinion, much more so than a lot of other cars in dirt track racing. It's very universal. You take the motor out of that, or engine, shouldn't call it a motor. You take the engine out of that thing, and there's a lot of things that you don't have to change. You can buy a sprint car from somebody who's not racing RaceSaver and put a RaceSaver engine in it and race with it. It's pretty cool, and I think it also is what lends to, I think, the expense. I think, and again, I don't want sprint car people mad at me. I think sprint car racing on the surface appears much more simple from a setup standpoint than, let's say, a super late model, or any late model for that matter, even modified racing these days. And back to the comment when I was sitting in your shop that time, and I said, man, I want to buy a sprint car. You told me, yes, I'll sell you this one right now. I said, how much? I think he told me $15,000. If I remember correctly, it was a handful of years ago. I think he'd sell it for $15,000. Yeah. I'm like, no way. And you're like, yeah, I'll sell you this one right here, $15,000. And he said, I'll sell you the modified too. And I'm like, well, what do you sell that for? He said, I think it was 40. It was over 40 some thousand. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
That was the deal when we raced the RaceSavers at Boone. It just never took off because, it was Boone. You don't see sprint cars. But the guys who bought them said, he goes, I could go out and buy 2 modifieds for what I have. Or I could buy 2 of these sprint cars and have almost as much money in the modified.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and have just as much fun, or if not more fun, because of the way they are to drive.
Yeah, I think that's what really separates sprint car racing from the other divisions, all other divisions. I think. I mean, and a sprint car is in my opinion, yeah, it's 15 grand versus 40 grand, but I'd still would be a little bit more comfortable racing the $40,000 car versus the 15 because
There's fenders and
a sprint car is an extremely intimidating race car to look at. You sit in that thing, and the drive shafts you're sitting over the rear end, the drive shafts between your legs. Your knees are on the back of the block. It's a very confined, small little area that they sit. I mean, you are really basically just sitting on the engine almost. I mean, they're awesome race cars. Awesome race cars.
Yeah. It's the next step down from an Indy car. I mean, basically, an Indy car is, of course, way more complicated, but I mean, you have an engine and a drivetrain. I mean, the sprint car, when you think about it, there's no starters, there's no transmissions, there's no bell housings, there's no clutch. There's one brake on the front, one brake on the back generally.
I was going to say
half the car's missing.
I was going to say there's no brakes comparatively to other divisions. Yeah. We have brakes. You just go out there and, I mean, what makes the thing go is the wing and the stagger. Like you said, the 90% of the setup. It's just fascinating. And again, you're basically just strapped to an engine. I mean, they're pretty cool.
What's a Jacob's ladder do, Roger? Because a lot of we talked about torsion bars and this and that. Everybody knows about a pull bar in a modified and weight jacks in a stock car, but a Jacob's ladder.
J bar, panhard bar on other types of cars, it's the same thing. Other than the Jacob's ladder makes the rear end go perfectly straight up and down as it goes through holes, where a panhard bar, the rear end will actually move side to side a little bit. On a sprint car, you can't do that because the rear end's coupled to the bell housing or to the motor. And to keep everything in line, the rear end needs to go exactly straight up and down.
Never knew that.
That's what the Jacob's ladder does.
I never knew that. So on the Jacob's ladder, is that something that they can adjust like a J bar? I'm thinking on a mod and even like a panhard bar on a sport mod, you can play with you can play with that a little bit.
The angle of it. Yeah.
I know a Jacob's ladder kind of looks like a W, right? It's kind of a funky looking piece. But can you adjust that? Do sprint car guys say, "Hey, put the Jacob's ladder up one hole"?
2 rounds of wedge in the Jacob's
or are they
ladder?
all insane?
The most I've ever seen on one of them is 2 holes. Most of them have 3, the 3 holes, the 2 mounting holes to the frame and the 1 to the rear end, and that's it.
Yeah, because like you said,
again, simple. You can't really screw it up too much.
Like you said, you have to keep that straight because if the drive shaft from the back from the crankshaft to the differential or to the rear end, if it's not straight, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it starts binding up the torque tube that goes around the drive shaft. That's between Brett's legs that he's scared about for some unknown reason. That torque tube's on a swivel and on a ball that lets it swivel, and that deal, if you get it too far out of alignment, it binds up.
So the rear end in a sprint car doesn't go up and down very much in relation to the actual.
It'll move up and down, but it won't move front. There's no rear steer, none, no rear steer in it
at all.
Yeah.
That's why you've got staggered.
Yeah, like on a mod or whatever, the rear end's moving, left rear's moving forward a foot, and the back right's moving back a foot or whatever. That stuff's all getting cattywampus in there. On a sprint car, none of that's happening.
Yeah.
When you go into the corner, think about this. When you go into the corner with that wing on the top, those side panels, when you throw the sprint car sideways, those side panels are like a brake, and they're pushing, the air's pushing that car over onto the left rear when you're going into the corner. So you're ready to accelerate off of the left rear.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people, Roger, think that sometimes a racetrack, like a sprint car track will rubber up or there's more drive off of one, but it usually a lot of times comes off the left rear on a wing car because that's the side that's getting the most, that is planted to the racetrack the most.
Yep, thousands of pounds of air pressure pushing that tire into the ground from the wing.
So the left rear on a sprint car is more important than the right rear?
I think so.
From a drive standpoint?
Mm-hmm. You'll hear a lot of sprint car guys talk about when they say taking care of tires, they're on a wing car, they want more of that left rear.
Because the right rear is the one that's intimidating. I mean, it's the size of a monster truck tire.
Because the left rear is with the stagger being smaller on the inside is going to give you the rotation like would be the rear steer.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch a sprint car race, when again, like Roger said, when they go in the corner and that weight just bears down on that wing and bears on the car. When you watch a sprint car go around the corner, it looks like it's squatting on the left rear. It's got a it's got a very distinct attitude versus a mod or anything right now. Hell, look at IMCA stock car. Look at when they go around the corner. No car looks like it's bearing down on the left rear. A stock car, a modified, even a late model. We've got rules trying to keep the back of the car down for crying out loud because they've got them so high in the air, and the sprint car is the opposite. It's just fascinating. Everything about a sprint car to me is fascinating.
Well, I'd say since, 70s and 80s on sprint cars, the technology, I mean, there's always some change, but it's been very, very similar. There's
similar to
four torsion bars, a W-link, holding the rear end. I mean, everything's very similar, just has been improved and made more dependable and easier to work on, I guess.
So break it down then. So at the RaceSaver Nationals, right? You get to the feature event and you've got your qualified cars. What differences when they talk about, okay, they watch your racetrack change, or they watch you're farming the racetrack. What is a sprint car guy doing to adapt his race car to Eagle Raceway? Let's just say in the last 15 minutes before a race.
When you go out and screw the track up.
All right. When I go out and screw the track up, and all of a sudden it's got a whole bunch of bites. First thing the driver does is probably take his underwear off and let things hang a little more. And then after that, he talks to the pit crew and he's like, I think we need to move the wing forward. It's going to get too much traction and we're going to be wheeling. Because these sprint cars, you get the wing too far back on a tacky track, they'll wheelie all the way down straightaway.
Put that wing in the trunk and she'll pull her off in a heartbeat.
Yep. And, the wetter the track is, the more stagger they're going to put in it to try to make sure it keeps turning well. Yeah, because
like you said, Roger, the biggest thing there is wing placement and tire stagger. That's really about the only two things you can change.
How much tire stagger does a sprint car have? Like on average?
So Mike Boston's my hero around Eagle Raceway, and he's old as dirt. I think him and Toby Chapman are probably both two guys who will run 14 inches of stagger around this place and be successful at it.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And a modified guy's trying to get 1.5 inches of stagger. Yeah. And they thought, man, it's a ton.
They want 1.5 inches usually.
But that goes back to these are some old guys who've been around a while, and goes back to that. I think their nickname's Old Balls.
No, that's Jim Stannard.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, it's just, I mean, with the track and everything about it, that RaceSaver feature never disappoints. And, by all means, it's definitely a must-see race. And we'll be there. I'll be there, except for Sunday. And I'm looking forward to it, Roger. Once again, you do a great job. Working for Racine, and you know it.
Is correct. I know it. She's the boss.
Yes,
she does a great job, though.
Well, she does. She really does.
Someday there should be one of these deals podcast about women in racing or something like that, or women in running races and things like that, because that side of the whole owning a racetrack game's quite a game too. I mean, the stuff that the people in the concessions and ticket booths and all that, what they've got to handle and manage, it's crazy.
She scares me on race night when I'm there. She scares me, Roger.
She gets pretty serious.
Well, like I said, good luck with the RaceSaver Nationals coming up.
Good luck with the rest of the season.
Can we talk haunted houses first?
Yeah. Tell us about the haunted house that happens. Because I've heard some.
Is this a good subject, Roger? Can we talk about haunted houses?
We get people from here that go over.
Yeah, I know people from Iowa that go out there.
Just on the side, is Eagle Raceway also turns into a.
I mean, it's not like the Velisca axe murderer house. Or
is that
anything,
still your deal, Roger? Or?
Nah, we lease it out to the people who helped us with it. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. We still do concessions and food and drink, and we have a place called the ER that we do. It's kind of like the bar, but it's all black light, glow in the dark stuff. We have like
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
fancy drinks like the bloody tampon and
Woo. Woo.
Yummy.
And people drink that?
I'll have 2, please.
Oh. Does it come with
Yeah,
extra
it's-
string?
Maybe next week on the podcast, we'll all have a bloody tampon in front of us so we can drink up.
No, we won't. So yeah, so tell us about the, because I mean I know people that have gone there, and it's a pretty good time.
yeah, Jim Standard his daughter probably got the roughest ride out of the deal. So I was allowed to drive the bus that transferred people. There's 3 haunts actually, and to get to one of them, you got to ride a school bus, and I was the bus driver. So
True story here.
yeah, this is true story. So I tell the story on the bus about how the night terrors began, the haunt night terrors, and it all started from drivers that crashed and hated each other, and they ran into each other, and one flew out of the track, and we never found them, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm telling this story, and then I hang a sharp left as we're going through the pits, and put the hammer down. We're full blast in a bus, so yeah, 30 mile an hour down the back straightaway. But when we get to the corner, I have the dirt piled up in a way that when you get to the corner, I turn right at the last minute,
On paper.
and and the bus leans way over, and people are falling out of their seats in the middle of the bus, and then as I'm going down the front straightaway, getting ready to exit the track, I get everybody singing "Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, Put Your Hands in the Air," blah, and everybody's got their hands in the air, and they're looking out the front window, and they see the guardrail coming up, and usually I just miss that. But then I
Usually, there was this one time I didn't.
yeah, the bus does have some straight marks from the guardrail, but then I throw a smoke ball into the walkway of the bus, and it gets all smoky. And at that time, I get down into the steps of the bus, and I just got my arm up underneath the seat, holding the steering wheel, hoping I'm going straight. Usually, I do pretty good, but I don't know. I got a little too close to the wall when Jim was riding with me one day, and I bumped into the wall pretty hard.
My daughter's like 8 or 9 at the time, and unfortunately she had braces. So when I picked her up from the aisle of the bus, she's bleeding. Jeez. We're sitting there. I think people knew, because I was talking to Roger before that, and, we're at the next haunt, and somebody comes up. Does he do that every time? Oh, yeah, every time he wrecks a bus.
Yeah, knocked the windows out of the door and out of the front corner and everything. Jeez. Yeah,
And
that's when I couldn't drive the bus anymore. They decided I was too much of a liability.
Well, once again, it's getting good use out of your racetrack. Instead of just a racing season, you're able to squeak out to Halloween, and it's
Yep.
it's a neat deal.
Yeah, possibility we'll have a banquet hall type thing next year. Working on that idea pretty hard now, so I think might have that going on.
You know what else might be neat? If you could put a roof over the track and maybe a drag strip out there.
Oh God, not that. Now we're back to that. That would be neat. There's no doubt. It would be cool as hell.
We'll see if we can find you an investor.
Yeah, we just need millions. That's it.
Time and money, that's all it takes.
Well, Roger, we really appreciate you taking time today to join us on this nonsense we call a podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Now I've witnessed it, so I know how goofy you guys all are.
you didn't know that before?
Well, I knew in person, but I didn't know you'd be that way in front of multiple people.
Jerry doesn't change.
No. Same show, different channel.
Well, thanks again for being on the show, Roger. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Look forward to the RaceSaver Nationals. What are the dates on that again?
1, 2, 3.
First to the 4th.
1st
Of September.
of September.
Yeah.
So you're 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out.
Two.
Less-
Two.
Yep.
Less than
Two.
3.
It's almost 3. 2.5.
There you go. So, once again, all of it on imca.tv.
There you go.
It is.
All right, you better go get them stepkids shoved out the door and get to work.
Yeah.
Fire up a couple machines, Roger.
Get them doing something.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Roger.
You bet. Have a good day.
You too.
Got some podcast guys or whatever.
Yeah, IMCA.
Don't say nothing bad, Roger.
Yeah, Nate hasn't turned you off yet.
We're listening.
That them podcast guys or something.
Wasting my goddamn time. Goddamn Van Sickle.
Yeah. Had to talk to Jim again. Jeez, 14th time today.
How long we been talking?
We got some time left here. What do you want to talk
Hey,
about?
you know what? You know what?
What are we gonna talk about for 15 minutes?
You know,
Donuts?
Jerry.
Yep. Go
Jerry
ahead, caller.
would take Jerry from Urbandale. You're on. Jerry likes to take pictures of what sexy sunsets. Jerry.
Oh, I love sexy sunsets.
I got one.
You do?
I got one
Oh,
right there.
Oh, that is
Oh,
so
wow.
beautiful.
Wow.
What the hell?
Did you get served that hat? Did somebody serve you that hat?
Where in the hell? That race didn't even get canceled.
What? Hey, put that picture back up there
Where the hell
again.
did that hat come?
That might have been at that non-sanctioned Vegas race.
Oh, God.
Look at that. Just look at the smile.
Lord, I'm
and
so happy.
how proud
Look
you
This
are.
whole outfit matches.
Look at how little that hat looks on my head.
Jeez.
Good Lord, turn that thing off, Nate. That is a sexy sunset.
Yeah, it is a
Yes, it
sexy
is.
sunset.
That's the best part of that picture.
Hey.
Is the sunset.
Not only.
Hey, now I was at the races Sunday out here to Vinton,
Yeah.
and I was listening to the announcer, and the announcer might have made a comment about his boss.
Don't need to bring it up now.
I mean, he can grow face. I mean,
That was
I
a
mean,
joke.
I know it was a joke, but you were all worried and scared that he was going to
that
be
was-
mad.
that was
But
part
he
of the
can grow
joke, too.
facial hair a little
can.
bit.
That was part of the joke.
Hey, you
too,
know what
Jerry.
else Brett's really good at?
Now Jim can't though.
You know, we stopped. I was with Carson today this morning, and we stopped by Brett's house before we came into work.
No shit. That's me this morning.
Oh, my.
That's me this morning. That's
Took
no
a picture
shit.
of Brett.
The mole that I killed was not quite that big, but I'd never seen a real.
You've never seen a mole? They're uglier than Jim.
I've never seen a mole before in my life until this morning.
I mean, but that's a gopher.
I had a
we
mole.
all know
Yes,
that.
that's a gopher. I had a mole in my yard last night, and so I've been chasing this mole for 2 nights, trying to figure out. So I'm on my phone last night, laying in bed, trying to figure out how I'm going to catch this mole. So I woke up this morning and I walk out there, and I'm like, last night I pushed down all the mole trails, you know.
You
And
put
I
the garden hose in.
yeah, exactly, and the dynamite. You know, we've all
No, seriously, you do. You put the garden hose in there.
I didn't know that actually. I read you're not supposed to do that.
Why? Because it's like
It's not
inhumane
good.
or something?
No, it's not good for your yard. I just read that was not a good thing
Creates
to do.
trenches,
So I'm
probably.
thinking, okay, do I get the mole trap? Do I get the spikes? Do I get something that? How do I catch this little bastard? Right? And so
Yeah.
this morning I pushed all the stuff down on this, and I mean it's literally down the whole line of my yard.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, we used to get him out to farm.
So I'm walking along it this morning before I come to work. That's why I was a little late today. I'm walking along this coming to work, and I get over to this one spot, and I kid you not, the grass goes. While I'm standing there, I'm like, that little bastard is right there.
Like,
And you could just see the ground pushing up. So I took like 3 steps back, and I did like a running start, and I jumped as high as I could in the air and stomped on it.
No, he whack-a-mole. You played
Did you kill
whack-a-mole.
it?
The problem was the ground was a little wet because I'd been watering my yard the night before. So I sunk in the yard like that deep. And then I'm like, well, hell, did I actually land on it? Because I mean, I literally made a hole. I had to wash my feet. I was
Jesus,
wearing
Tubby.
flip-flops this morning. Yeah. I went back and got a shovel, and I came back out. I'm like, surely I had to kill this. So I just kind of picked the grass back. Sure shit, there it was. So I
You killed it.
Killed it. Wow. And
My dad
He
used to
is
use
a
spade.
whack-a-mole champion.
so then I panicked.
Oh, you panicked. Oh, somebody's going to call the cops and kill them all.
If you have ever met my wife,
Oh, dead animals and
you
critters
will
in
you will
general.
know that she is takes no part in killing anything. She does not want me to kill
Even a mole that's
anything
tearing the
except
hell
a-
out of your backyard.
anything except a spider.
Spiders,
I'm permitted to kill spiders, but other than that, I'm not supposed to kill it. So I'm like, then I terrified. So I went and grabbed the trash can, and I kind of I'm out in my backyard carrying a trash can and a shovel and thinking, okay, she's gonna come walk out here and ask me what I'm doing, and then I picked them all up and I did a burial service for him, threw them in the trash can, tied it up, and threw it in the
Tony Soprano getting rid of a dead body.
So yeah, exactly. It was kind of like that. So then I had mud all over my feet, right? So I'm like out there trying to figure out how to get this mud off my feet, and she comes out and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." And then she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. Don't worry about it." So then it turned to, what happened, and I killed them all, and she was madder, and she's mad at me this morning. Went back in the house. I'm like, "Babe, but what are we supposed to do? I mean, they say they ruin your yard." But anyhow, that was kind of like me. I was kind of like Bill Murray and Cat this morning.
Finding the mole and Jimmy Hoffa's going to be.
They look
one
like
of the same.
rats.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of what they are. They're a rodent.
I read where they get to be 10 inches long, so I envisioned that gopher being under there. And so if I stomped on it hard enough that, okay, I was going to squeal or squeak or make a noise or something, made no noise. So anyhow, I picked this thing out,
kill.
and then I felt,
Quick and painless.
And I just pulled this little rat out of the ground, and I'm like, I kind of felt bad for killing it, to be quite honest. And I'm like, oh, man.
Carl Spackler don't have anything on you.
That's my wife. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I had to rescue a cat Sunday, though.
I had to kill it.
Remember that?
Oh, you had a
Yeah, I was out here at the racetrack. There was a loose kitten got in the concession stand.
Swinging from the lights.
Oh, this kitten was.
Terrifying.
It was.
Was it in the lights?
Well,
Got
it
into
came running through, then it went into the concession stand, and then went into the office, and then there was it went up the wall, over on some shelves, and then it's got, like one of those hanging shop lights. And how this cat jumped on there and just kept this light, and this cat's little kitten just
Cat in a hot tin roof.
exactly. So then I everybody was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" I go, "Just give me a towel." Got it there, got him. Because you get them by the scruff of the neck, and then they become paralyzed. Cats don't know what to do when you grab them by the scruff of the neck.
This is fascinating.
I never knew
That's how
Jerry
they
knew his
carry.
way
That's
around
how
a pussy
that's
before.
Hey, closest I've been doing in a long time, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so save the kitty.
Can I borrow your underwear for 10 minutes?
Exactly.
So we've learned how to kill a mole today.
Yeah.
Learn how to save a
Jump
cat.
high.
What Jacob's ladders do on sprint cars.
Yep. Oh, we forgot to ask
Hey,
him how important the front nose wing is.
How to
He talked about that.
Yeah.
Well,
He said
we
if you
talked
put it
about
back, it'll pull a wheelie.
No, that's the top. The front
wing.
one, though. The nose
He was
wing.
talking the top wing.
Oh, the top wing does?
Yeah.
The
Well,
front
the nose,
wing.
the north, it puts down pressure on the front tires to help you steer. But I always, you watch those guys race a sprint car, and they're always turning right and left all the time in the corner.
So
Yeah, because their wheels go like this really fast.
Yeah.
Jerry tamed a cat this week.
No, that little cat was not
cat was not
tameable.
good.
I killed them all.
Holy cow!
And for Jerry's
You
next
saved a life. I ended one.
Yeah.
Jerry's next trick, he's gonna canine dogs at Boone.
Canine dog.
No, I've been there, done that. I lost that.
I don't think that dog liked you.
Oh God, I still laugh about that.
Oh, I know
God,
you do.
This close. It would have been the best all-time Boone memory ever.
We all have moments where we remember things, just the most random, strangest things that
I can't remember
you
what I
remember
had
for
for
years,
breakfast.
right?
But you can remember that goddamn
God,
story.
I remember the moment that the police were there. Jerry and the dog.
The best.
Jerry had to have been drinking.
Oh my God.
I might have been a little drunk that night.
It was a Sunday night pit party.
Yeah, it was. For some reason, I decided that was a good night to
I'll
drink.
never forget standing there with the police officers that night, and Corey Rose turns to me. He says, "Will you get that idiot off the microphone?"
I mean, it's not like you don't hear that every. If you don't hear
Oh, I
that
know,
every
but
Saturday
Jim
night.
comes down there and says, "Hey, you need to." I go, "They're telling me to announce this," and Jim's like, "Shut up!"
Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. We need everybody out of the pits. Attention in the pits.
And
No,
Corey
it was
Rose just turns
The
to me and
pits
he
are
says,
now a crime scene.
he might not have said idiot. He said,
Yeah,
"Would you?"
he did.
He get him off the microphone. I said,
Why
okay.
he said idiot.
Handled, no problem.
Well, yeah, because I'm being told, "Hey, tell everybody to park their shit. It's done for the night. Park it."
Well, I think they might have heard you the first 17 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he's getting pissed over here, guys.
Well, I'm not getting pissed.
He looked at his watch. He's like, "Is it over yet?"
No, I'm just getting a phone call.
So that, and then the other
The
deal
bat
is
phone.
The bat phone.
you just don't pet police dogs.
You know what's fun about those iPhones? My wife has one of those.
The iWatch or the phone?
The
Because, I mean,
phone.
this is a
Is
phone
it-
and that's a watch, but it is a phone. I could
The
talk on it.
iWatch,
Yeah.
whatever it is. You talk to it, you text to it.
I can do all that.
Yeah, my wife
I don't
does that.
always
That's
do
the-
it, but if I'm in a situation where, like, sometimes my phone gets left in a pickup or in a tractor or water truck and somebody calls, I can talk right on my...
My wife texts on hers, and we'll be like just randomly, whether it be at the house or whether it be at the grocery store or whatever, she's talking to her phone. And so I just randomly say words. And she'll be talking, I'll say, pussy.
Send!
Boom! It texts it in the middle
See, the
of it.
thing of it is once you do that, you have to the next word is send.
She'll be like, knock it off. I'm like, it's so fun. So I just randomly say inappropriate words during her text. Because sometimes it's for her work. She'll be texted back.
Oh,
coworkers, I'll be, pussy.
but you got to say that and then send. Because then it'll, it'll send it.
Shoot. Anyhow.
There we go. We'll learn something new once again.
Yep, you can talk to your wife's iWatch, and it will...
And say shit.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, pussy, apparently is what he says.
Alexas and stuff like that. You have Alexa?
Yeah, I
in
got
the house?
Alexa at home.
Alexa is just like, do you have Alexa, Jim?
No, I don't.
I mean, Alexa is just, you don't need to know anything.
No.
You can really be the stupidest person on the planet. If you have an
I
Alexa
know.
sitting beside you, you're not stupid anymore because you just ask it what you want to know and it tells you.
Yeah,
Like
but
everything.
usually sometimes it tells you off Wikipedia, though.
Alexa, what's 3 + 3? And it tells you. I mean, it's just the strangest thing.
You have one?
Yeah.
What's crazy, though, is you can be talking about something. Now, probably here's what's going to happen. We're all going to open our Facebook, and it's going to be a damn Alexa ad there because these things listen to us.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And usually nobody listens to Jerry, but his phone does.
Yeah.
Mark
Damn
Zuckerberg's
thing.
doing it. Or is it Steve Jobs is listening? Oh, wait. No,
Steve Jobs can't listen.
I know. I just said that. It's probably appropriate.
On this show?
No.
He's like that mole I got this morning.
Jeez. You didn't whack-a-mole or anything this morning?
I
did
would
you?
have.
No,
I
I
would
did
have
not.
paid big money to see Brett trying to kill a mole this morning.
I would have. That would have been.
You ever just out in your yard doing something and think, oh, God, I hope nobody saw me do that? It was just one of those moments.
No, I really would have liked to seen that.
We got the picture.
I know. I got the picture of him. That was a
Yeah.
good-looking hat too, by the way.
Army crawling out there. My sniper rifle.
What do we got coming up? Anything big and exciting in the IMCA world?
Nah, there's really nothing happening. Nothing to worry about.
Perfect. No big events coming up.
No, it's kind of slow time of the year. Season's winding down. Nothing big happens at the end of the year.
Ryan, has your phone been ringing off the hook as it gets later in the season and people do stupider shit every week?
Once in a while. On occasion. I haven't really written too many
It comes
letters,
in like
though, this year.
volleys. It seems to come in.
It does.
Yeah.
It seems to come like everything comes in threes. They say
Yeah.
it seems
Yeah.
to kind of come in threes here. We have Mondays that are like, oh, the first one comes in, and we're like, oh, what are the next two going to be?
Our phones were down yesterday, so it was a pretty pleasant Monday.
Yeah, I didn't pay the bill. I want to
And I-
apologize to
You wanna
everybody
pay-
for that.
Hey, things are tight.
I mean, I don't know what the deal is. Our phones literally
Shut down.
shut down.
Oh, trust me.
Well, they're internet
the
based,
same
too.
phone.
Big high dollar paying
The
race.
same
How does that-
auto
phones.
races.
So the same phones you have here are the same phones that we had at the car dealership when I left. And when those go down,
You can't do anything.
nothing. And when those went down, because it was like in there, it was all one system. So the phones, computers, everything.
So I want to go back and relive yesterday for the rest of the week because that was an enjoyable Monday.
It was a quiet Monday
nice.
around here. I had people call my cell phone. What's wrong with your phone? Like, I don't know. It's on. It works fine.
Yeah.
No,
I had
seriously.
people wanting your number Sunday night, and I about gave it out. But
There was a driver that told me he was going to call your cell phone last Friday. Did he ever do that?
there was a
About a sport compact
I called
situation?
that guy call the office Monday morning on that tech question.
Not usually.
I don't think he probably wonder if he
Probably
tried
didn't.
to call.
Probably didn't.
I learned that you can actually call people on Facebook through your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I know. I never knew that.
That's
I've
usually
never
how
done
Wade and
that.
I talk is through Facebook Messenger, so it doesn't get like international phone charges.
See, Wade was in Knoxville.
Yep, he's back in. Should be.
I was
Is he
gonna
back
ask
for
this.
Kiss?
Yep.
So he goes back for the concert?
Yeah, I'll pick him up.
my
I
God.
think I'll pick him up on the 25th at the airport.
Was the concert? Did he say the concert was the 17th?
I think it's either the 17th or 18th.
Shows you how good my memory may be. I thought he said something about the 17th going back for a concert
Yeah.
and then coming back.
Because I was chatting with him a little bit yesterday, which was Monday, and he was catching a plane to go home.
Jerry, call him, see if he answers.
All right.
No, don't.
No, we're going
No,
to.
don't do that.
No, I want to show you how this works. I mean, what kind of
Jerry,
trouble
it's
are
like
we going to get
2:30
into?
and
Hang on a minute.
wherever the hell
If he's in
at.
Australia,
We're
he's
just
really
gonna-
going to be pissed.
Well,
Yeah,
we just want to
Jerry.
see if you're awake. That's
Jeez.
mean.
Jerry.
But anyhow, so Wade's coming back in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
2.5 weeks. Think he's going to be... Is he going to Marshalltown on Friday night?
That's his plan, unless he diverts
When
to
is he
a
coming to
different
Boone?
place.
And then he's coming to the Prelude on Saturday.
He will be at the Prelude.
Yeah, he's
the
at,
plan.
he's at the Prelude.
He'll be with us for, 8 days?
Yeah.
We were talking about him yesterday.
Oh yeah, what were you talking
Well,
about?
we're getting all of our stuff ready to go, right? For the
Oh,
Super
apparently,
Bowl.
apparently there's a
We're packing everything up, right? And so I've got the draw spoons, and Jim's
the
like,
Boone Spoon.
and Jim's like, yeah, get rid of these things. I'm like, what do you mean get rid of them? Oh, you got to find something different. Let's do something different this year. I'm like,
Hands are
What?
kind of tied now.
what the hell would Wade do
with no Boone Spoon.
with no
Boone
Boone
spoons.
spoons?
Yeah.
What Boone spoon did you draw? So yeah, so we were getting the spoons ready yesterday.
He did come up with some
Taking all the
goofy
good
shit that
numbers out
stuck.
because
Taking all the good
Taking all,
numbers out.
yeah.
we sell them. Just ask anybody.
So, and just a couple things about the Prelude and the draw and the spoons while we're on it, might as well,
Yeah.
right? So Roger had mentioned the split draw. That he does a split draw for the RaceSaver Nationals. I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense. It's a very smart thing to do.
Yeah, no, I like that.
We do the split draw obviously as well at the Super Nationals for the mods and stock cars. A 3-day show. We split it into 300 pills, and you draw. Everybody draws the first day, and then based on what you drew, we chop it into thirds, 1 through 100, 101 through 200, 201 through 300. We chop it into thirds, and then you can never draw that essentially out of those ranges of numbers.
Yeah.
2 days in a row. So you can't. It's impossible at the Super Nationals to draw the pole
Every day.
every day.
Even if
We've
your
had
name-
that happen.
Even if your last name's Logue.
Even if your last name is Lowe,
Sadoff?
And it's impossible to draw the tail every day.
and it isn't. That's the other thing. That's
Even
probably
if your
more
last name's
so.
Sobbing.
And that's important because racers, yeah, unless you're sobbing. Racers are superstitious. I'm very superstitious. You know, I think everybody's to a certain extent is superstitious about it. Things like this, but you know, just doing the computer draw weirds people out. You know, and
That computer knows who I am, and it always gives me that shit.
we have racers that are convinced that yes, I mean, you hear it. They're convinced that their name somehow is attached to a high number, and every time they draw.
What always gets them though is when the next week they come to do that, or the next time they draw, and in my race pass there's that setting that is pill before person
Before driver,
before
select it,
driver,
yeah.
and you come up and you just say, okay, hit the button. Geez, that didn't even put your name in the computer.
Haven't got that
Oh, you had
far,
to. You had to. You had to do something.
You know, I think it was
They're very superstitious,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. And then when
Yeah.
you have something like the Super Nationals where people plan and they come for a week,
Oh yeah.
From a long way away.
yeah,
well, over the course of a
I
season.
mean, they just don't come from
this-
like Urbandale.
The summer series, you know, there was a deal where we tracked everybody's average draw throughout the course of one entire season. And even the people, and there are people that say,
Yep.
I never draw well. Everybody averaged between 40 and 60 from
Yeah.
1 to 100. It evens out. It,
It
really
does.
does.
It's
You
the law
only
of
remember
averages.
the bad draws. You don't remember the good.
Correct.
the law of averages is the law of averages. You know, it still always gets to that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't change people's. The perception is that it's fixed or can be fixed or is fixed. It's like, you know, voting machines. But anyhow, so back to on the draw then. So, well, not only that, on the participants, and Jim said something about distances. We had what 700 and how many we got entered now?
713, I think. Yep, 713. 26 states and 4 Canadian provinces.
4 Canadian provinces.
It's one more than last year.
It's enough for a race.
Kind of like a state.
What's that? Yeah, it is. A province.
Province.
And
Providence.
as of yesterday, which was the
Province.
15th of August, as of yesterday, the 15th of August, we had 226.
Yep. Mods.
226 mods pre-registered, which is what we had for our participants at last year's event. So I would anticipate we're probably going to still see some.
Well, I think we'll have about 800 mods.
I still think we'll.
14.
You know,
in-
some of those guys like to register
That was
early.
Bristol. That
And North Wilkesboro last week.
not so much. The we're probably going to be on pace for very consistently with what we have the last handful of years for,
We should have
for most of our divisions.
6,000
It
cars.
is.
The stock car one is the one that last year that kind of surprises. We had over 200 the last 2 years or
Yeah.
last year, and we almost had as many stock cars last year as we did mods.
We
Didn't
were at 222 last year, so we were four
We're
stock
shy.
cars.
And,
shy
and
of
we
mod.
do have a lot of mod guys that are also racing the stock cars. For years, Boone Speedway had a rule. You know this probably. For years, Boone Speedway had a rule: you cannot race in two divisions at the racetrack at all. And he actually used that at the Super Nationals for a few years. We eventually overrode that, but the same thing applied. That's why if you go back, maybe like when John Logue was winning a bunch of races, or some of those early days of, maybe middle days of Boone Speedway, Super Nationals events, and those guys weren't racing multiple divisions, even though they could have, Logue raced a late model for a while.
Yeah, he had a late model.
And then he also did he ever race a stock car?
That's where he started. He started in a hobby stock and then moved up to the stock
But he never
car.
raced them at the same time.
But he no, because back then nobody raced two divisions. It was you raced whatever division you were in.
Right. So now we're seeing guys. In fact, I just had a call last night from Benji Lacrosse that said that
Big money, Benji.
Yeah.
Big money.
Benji called me last night and said he's likely coming to Super Nationals, which I thought was kind of cool. But he's asking, where can he?
Well, I
park?
mean, he's already qualified for the B&B All-Star.
He is.
Correct.
He
For
is.
last year, he got an automatic in by winning 50,000 at Batesville,
Well, plus he won a 5,000-1 race at Luxembourg, I believe, this year.
and he won 10,000 at 141.
And he told me last night he didn't own his race car. The little things that we, that racers will.
He's
Some
a
guy
wheel-
named Joe.
Yeah, he's a wheelman on
Do
that
you know
deal.
who Joe is?
I know who he is. I don't know him though.
He just said Joe owns a stock car. I just drive it for him.
yeah,
Oh my mom.
he's a wheelman.
So, but guys like that, we're going to probably see. I would say this year more dual.
We've got like 25
driving.
right now, I think. Typically, it's right around the 30 number.
Yeah.
So it's quite a few, but it's not as many as you think.
Yeah,
If you think about the number of cars that we get,
Yeah.
30 is not many that do double. And it's not just mods and stocks. We've got some mod lights and stock cars. There's a lot of different mixes between two divisions.
Didn't we have one
Sport
year?
compact and late models.
We had
Yeah,
one year.
That's not going to happen.
And we had one year where a guy finished in the top 4 in 2 classes, didn't we? Was
Probably.
it T. Meyer that did that?
I don't think he did
No,
multiple
he-
divisions.
Ricky Thornton.
Did Thornton do it? I don't know if Thornton
No,
did it
I
or
don't
not.
think he did because when
He
he
won
was
the
Sabe-
late models.
when he
and
was
then-
racing Van Eaton's.
Sabbing crashed him, he would have.
No, the
that
modifieds and late models.
Oh, that's
Did
right.
he get
late-
top
Yeah,
4?
I think he won them both.
Did he win them both same year? He might have.
we'd have
I
to go back
believe.
and look.
He might have.
Where's your book? Get the go
Because
get
he
the
was
my
driving
office.
Cooney's.
Go
He
get
was
the-
driving
yeah.
Cooney's car.
Yeah, he's driving
But I had thought that we had a sport mod and a stock car situation where, because you can't race sport mods and mods.
But you can race a sport mod and a stock car.
Yeah, and I thought
We have a
we had
couple of
somebody
those
that
this
come
year.
close a handful of years
Sport
ago.
mod stock car?
Yeah, sport mod stock car combination this
Yeah.
year. But I don't know who that would have been.
But
I
we
don't
get
know.
we get that question a lot. Why don't you let hobby stocks race stock cars, and why don't you let
Sport mods
sport
run
mods?
mods.
And we do let stock cars race sport mods.
Right.
I mean, people might not like that, but we've always tried to keep the sport mod, which is entry level modified racing to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And hobby stocks, which is entry level stock car racing to us. We try to separate the stock car guys from coming down into the biggest paying hobby stock and sport mod events and trying to race at them, And we talked about this last week, with the sport mods up at 141.
Which is this week.
Right.
Yeah.
We talked about last week.
10,000 to win?
If we would let it, Benji would probably race that race. Somebody would let him drive his
Right.
let him
Well,
drive
Somebody
their car.
would, somebody would put Benji in a sport mod because they know he could win the 10
And
grand.
more than likely
Correct.
win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one of those situations where, at Super Nationals, we have a lot of, we have 30, 2 to 3 dozen crossover racers or dual division racers, whatever you want to call it. But we don't let them do that. And we, generally speaking, this time of year too, and we talked about this a little last week, is when you get mod guys that try to change their sport mod licenses,
Right.
And we generally ask lots of questions about that too, just to try to protect the divisions, the events, and what they're meant to.
Yeah, when these tracks put on a big show for the sport mods, we
want
want
a
it
sport mod
truly
to
to
win
be
it.
for sport mods.
Yeah, we want the sport mod guys.
Yeah, we
to
don't
feel
want
like
some
it's
like
their
super late
event.
model guy coming in.
Right. If a guy isn't going to race weekly a sport mod at the track, why should he be allowed to race at a 5,000 to win sport mod race?
Or 10,000 that we're going to see this week.
Correct. Or the Southern
Captain?
Sport Mod, the
Captain
Southern
of the
Sport
Creek.
Mod Super
Captain of the
Nationals at
Creek.
KSP too.
Yeah.
You know, so the Southern Sport Mod Nationals at KSP is probably going to be a very well attended, I would say, Southern Sport Mod race. So you got to be a Southern Sport Mod racer. We want to, we want to protect those guys that are racing in that division down there, IMCA, as best we can.
What else is going on this week, Jerry?
Oh man, that was fast. We went.
Jesus.
That was 25 minutes.
56.
We're over our time limit.
See
We
what
didn't
is
even eat all
going
the
on this
donuts.
week. You know what was? You know what we're going to find out what's going on this week because Nate's going to put it on the screen. Night of 10,000 stars tonight. Well,
Tonight.
Tuesday. Yeah. Let's see what else we got.
Your birthday's tomorrow, Jerry.
My birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We were working on the
Hey.
pricing too for the IMCA TV
Are
pay-per-view.
we ready to announce that? Or
Pay-per-view for the Super Nationals.
Yeah.
We were working on that yesterday. It's up now. So for those that can't attend the Super Nationals,
How much is
want to
it?
watch from home, we've got it priced daily. We've got a couple of package, a Prelude package or a Mod Light package is what we're going to call it. If you want to watch just Saturday, Sunday, the Prelude, and you're a Mod Light racer, for example, that's priced appropriately. So you can buy that package. You can buy the daily package. You can buy and then you can buy the 8-day package. And the 8-day package is the best deal. I think it's about $80, $90 in savings, something like that.
Nate, roll down into September. Yeah.
About $100 in savings.
And it's
if-
between
if you
80 and
buy.
90 hours of racing for the 8
It's a
days.
lot.
how
It's a
many
lot of
how
racing.
many laps?
Over 4,000.
So how much is that per lap?
Well, I don't know if it's 4,000. I'm just a ballpark figure.
Come on, Ryan. You're
It's
the
over
num-
400 races.
You're the number guy.
It's over 400 races from Saturday to Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Is a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of racing.
I think we in the 8 days of racing and in 900-ish race cars, we divided that out into weekly racing at Boone, and
I've always
It's
said if
over
you,
a full
I've always
season.
said if you watch every race at the Super Nationals,
That's just Monday to Saturday.
just Monday to Saturday, just the Super Nationals. We've done the math before. It is like watching a 100 car weekly show for 20 nights.
Full
You
season.
could see a
That's a
full
season.
season of racing in 8 days
Yep.
or 6 days.
yeah.
This is like we talked about it Sunday. This is like our Hanukkah. 'Cause
Right,
there's
8
8
days.
crazy nights.
Well, what a person can do is just bunker down on their couch for over a week and a half.
Yeah.
You could watch sprint cars at Eagle, the RaceSaver Nationals,
Yep.
then Prelude, then Super Nationals. You're set.
Exactly.
Just have dominoes on speed
You
dial.
take vacation, not leave the house.
There you go.
Batesville. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff
Oh yeah,
going
that's
on.
right, Nate. Don't we
There's a lot
added
of stuff
We got
going in
Batesville
on,
coming up.
Yeah,
in
we-
and around that Labor
So
Day
we've added
weekend.
we've let Labor Day. There's that's a topless, isn't it? Their annual topless race.
No.
Yeah, it used to be a street stock race.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
It's
comp
switching to stock
cams or
cars.
something.
There's a
it's-
lot
it's
of
strictly
cla-
only stock cars.
And Jim,
So there's 2 big stock car shows.
yeah, so
Correct.
there's 2 down there.
Mooney has done it again.
Mooney. And then guess what else Mooney did? Mooney said that we get to go back again after Super Nationals and broadcast the Hope for 71 race.
Yep.
So we're going to be down there. If you get the Hope
So
for
now
71.
you'll be able to watch that on TV
I was
for,
gonna- I was
for the
gonna
first time ever.
You go back a handful of years. I don't know how many years it's been.
What?
Mooney used to have a real big. I don't know if it was a street stock or what he called those.
Yeah,
things down
it was
there.
a street. It was like their street stock / factory stock.
I mean,
deal.
with Mid American, whatever he called
Yeah,
them,
it
or
was,
something like that. He used to get 100 plus
Oh hell yeah!
of those cars for that event. He didn't have it no more. He's switching them to stock cars. He's
Well, because
switching
what's happened
event to
is that
stock cars.
class has got so
He's
screwed up down there.
Well, again, that you're kind of going where I'm going with this. I mean, that you're seeing facilities like Batesville, and we've got some up in the northern part, up in North Dakota,
I think it's already been announced
that
this
are
year's
switching
Stampede.
non-sanctioned street stock divisions or sanctioned
Yep.
street stock divisions by other associations. They're switching them to IMCA sanctioned stock cars. So stock car racing is healthy, and stock car racing has got some momentum, and we've known this for a few years now. So the Super Nationals is going to be cool. I think we're going to see some. It'll be interesting to see this. What do we do if we have more stock cars? I mean, mods have always led the charge at Super Nationals. Nothing has ever touched a modified division. I mean, they've come sport mods, kind kind of bounced up and then they kind of plateaued. But stock car racing is kind of just continued to
Steady growth.
Steady growth, yeah.
to catch it. It's going to be interesting to see this year if we have more stock cars racing on
About
Wednesday.
20 to 30 less right now.
They're close.
Than mods.
Close
They'll-
enough to be in
they'll show up.
striking range.
So
Yes, it is
just
the,
about 200 so far.
Schoenfeld Headers Mid-American.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
That race been
Now
going
stock
for
car
20 for 26 years. It's been street stocks, but now
Now it's a stock car.
stock car event. So
Mooney's done it again.
We must be doing something right. Not just we, I mean us as a group with the stock car division. 'Cause,
Yep.
you know, but I don't think that's the only division that we're doing stuff
No.
right in. But obviously.
That would be all of them, Brett.
Yeah. Well, Nate looks like he wants to
take
Go.
a nap, fall asleep.
Sure you don't want a donut, Nate? We have some extra ones. Nate
Remember
told
that
me this,
time, Nate? Remember
Nate
that
told me
time?
this morning he's on a 1,500 calorie a day diet.
Well, here's your day right here, Nate.
I'm like,
right.
I smoked through that in the podcast.
I smoked.
Killing one more.
I smoked through that at the first two food stands yesterday.
1,500 calories. I wouldn't even get out of bed then. What's the point?
1,500 calories. I'm like, wow. Well, good luck to you, Nate.
Nate, I'll tell you, it
We're
sucks.
thinking
I've
of
done it. 1,200 was mine, so I
We're
might do that
thinking
here.
of you.
I did get somebody message me. Jacob Dale said, "Hey, can you remind me because I got a brain fart here. What night's a Hawaiian shirt night at Super Nationals?
Sunday.
Sunday. Sunday's Hawaiian shirt.
Throwback
night.
Thursday.
Throwback
And
Thursday.
Hawaiian shirt Sunday.
Maybe,
Is
how
what we're
about,
gonna do.
How about no shirt Friday?
That'll happen.
that's-
That'll happen on a trailer to be named later.
That'll
We don't have to even
it'll
mention
be on the
that.
methanol moonshine stage probably during the Boone beauty contest.
Be every night.
No shirt.
There's a prom.
Friday.
Yeah.
Prom.
Leah Roten has got a Saturday Super Prelude prom.
I talked to Leah on Friday night at Marshalltown. Well, I didn't really. I listened to a conversation she had with
I heard
somebody
about
else.
her
and-
conversation Saturday.
I think people in State Center heard that
She
conversation.
was still wound up Saturday.
Mad about something?
Yeah.
I have my own Leah Roten story.
shit
when it
happens.
comes to that.
So what happened is a guy spun out in front of her, and she collected. They both got tore up. I remember Leah, he understands. He heard you the 7th time. I think he understands how you feel.
Oh, was she telling him to clear out of the pits too?
No, she was. Sailors were blushing. But we
happens.
talked about it. That's the passion of our drivers and the
Exactly.
passion of how they, what this sport means to them. And if, like we've talked about, if they lose that passion, whether it's men, women, or children,
We
just,
got bowling.
bowling. Hey, easy.
You're going to make Ryan.
You know that word we said we weren't going to talk about on. Yeah.
Bowling.
All right.
All right, let's wrap this deal up. So you've seen the schedule. You've seen what's going on in IMCA TV land and IMCA racing. So make sure and get out, support some great IMCA racing, whether it's local track or track you've never been
Jerry,
to.
Jim has something to say.
Go ahead, Jim.
Next week episode, we haven't named it yet.
Oh, the 19th one?
We'll come up with it. We'll have to figure it out. We can't tell everything all the time.
Barely
like the-
legal +1.
Barely legal plus one.
Tease our viewers, Jerry.
19.
Yeah.
It's going to require
It
some
will
thought.
be good. Whatever we come
I'll
up
think
with,
about it today
will be
over a
good.
corn dog at the fair. Think about it over a corn dog. So, like we said, if you haven't,
Well, it could go anywhere.
yeah, whatever. Yes. There's a 12-inch wiener stand there at the fair too. 1-foot-long hot dogs for sale. Anyway, so catch some great IMCA racing live. If you can't, remember, IMCA TV. Also, don't forget that replay pass, $24.95. Gets you 30 days of anything that's archived over the years of IMCA racing that we've got there on the website, so you can go back and watch that too. So from all of us to all of you, see you next time.
Pass the donuts, Jerry.
Okay.